Head over to our contest page and enter for your shot at a pair of reserved seats to an early screening of The Running Man in theaters November 14th. Enter today at KFAN.com keyword contest. That's KFAN.com keyword contest to enter now.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Common East Tennessee, and look who's here. It's the legendary one, Mark Rosen of formerly of Channel 4 Sports. Sports is your whole life, just sports fame. Now, this will be the third time I've asked you this question. Okay. You've had two different answers. We'll see what it is this time.
What are you talking about?
Do you think the Lions' window is slammed shut? Because you said earlier it was, then you said it wasn't. Where are you today on the Lions?
No, it's not.
It's not.
I said at the beginning of the year when we were talking about making predictions, et cetera, and I thought that given how close they've come the last 2 years, it's difficult to kind of get back to that point, and it remains to be seen if they will. A lot of great competition in the NFC, but no, I don't feel that way. No, I haven't felt that way after the season started, and even though the Vikings took care of business on Sunday, it doesn't change my mind about Detroit's future.
They sure did take care of business. It was a game, it's the old cliche, a must-win game, and it really wasn't a must-win game, but it was a must-win game. You lose that, you go to 3-5. Lions would have went to 6-2. Now the Packers did lose, and you lose another game against a quality opponent. Then again, depending upon how McCarthy would have, if he had played poorly, then you're just like, oh, now we're in big trouble. But you win the game, Green Bay loses, and all of a sudden you're only a game and a half out of first place. You're still in last place, but the team played their best game of the season by far.
Right. Started
to see some of the things I think a lot of us thought we would see at the beginning of the year. So obviously, I'm going to say it even though it goes without saying. That's a really good performance and a big win.
Yeah, now they have to make sure they keep the pedal down and not. It's one game. It was as you just mentioned, a very important game, especially they're 2-0 against divisional opponents. Both games have been on the road, so they haven't played anybody from the division at home yet. But what was the most encouraging thing to me, and something I've been harping about with you pretty much for weeks and weeks and weeks, is where's the defense? What's happened? Why can't they stop not just elite running backs, but just average running backs? And that's been the case. And I thought, wow, man, when we talked about the build-up to this game and how Gibbs in particular has torn up the Vikings, I thought, man, this is not going to be an easy task for the Vikings unless they get some turnovers and do some things that are out of character for them this year. And after the first drive, and then I thought, oh, my goodness, they've got something going on offense. They noticed a weakness in the Vikings scheme, and Laporte is going to catch 15 footballs today, and they went down the field lickety-split. He bowled his way over the end zone. Vikings get the big kick return, short field to work with. McCarthy does his thing, throws a touchdown. I mean, that kind of helped set the tone, that first drive for the Vikings. But after that, defensively, they manhandled what eventually ended up being kind of a beaten down, physically spent offensive line.
Well, not even physically. They were players were just left the game. They couldn't play. Their offensive line was similar to what the Vikings' offensive line has been for most of the season, where the Vikings were playing with. But in one game, they were playing with only one starter, I think, that was originally supposed to start the season. That was Fries. Otherwise, they had four other guys out there that weren't, including a couple of third stringers. The lines were down to that as well. So you can see how important the lines are. If you don't have a really tough, healthy offensive line. I mean, Mark Craig pointed it out about the Colts 2 weeks ago when he was down. They just lost, but. The gist of his piece was, how would Danny Dimes be doing if he was in Minnesota? Because look how well they did with Baltimore. Well, then, or with Indianapolis. But then, as he spelled out, that offensive line for the Colts not only is really good, they've been extraordinarily healthy.
We talked about it last week.
They barely missed any games. So you really can only kind of go as far as your offensive line takes you. If your offensive line, if you're playing second and third stringers and your best players are out, it's really tough to win.
Well, you get worn down. They may be able to survive for a while, and that's something that I think KOC has talked about. Well, we heard him again today. When you got the bookend tackles with O'Neal and Darisaw back, and then the underrated guy
Jackson's a good player, and Fries is playing well. He under the radar, but
I'm sorry.
The Fries character.
Oh, Fries, yeah, absolutely.
Because and again, it's not that I'm watching, but what I read something that said he's been quietly playing solid football.
And the guy that's been playing solidly football is Brandell. I mean, the center. And it sounds as if what's his name, Ryan, is getting closer to play. He's on the side field. That's the guy that they're expected to play at a high level at center for the Vikings. And Brandell's been a really nice surprise, and even Penny Sewell for the Lions got poked in the eye, and he was dealing with stuff. But I mean, again, I don't want to take anything away from the Vikings. They were B-Flow and what they were doing, the scheming, and maybe getting Van Ginkel back had that kind of a domino effect.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they were confusing him, and I'm not sure. I haven't seen Goff that confused. Goff was off. He was confused. He was a little rattled with Happy Feet. And he's not a guy that's going to take off and run with the ball unless he has to. And so the Vikings collapsed the pocket any number of times, and it was fun to watch because it doesn't happen very often, and that's a tough place to play and win. But now they have to, they go from Jared Goff to Lamar Jackson and a very highly motivated Ravens team that has to find its way back from a god awful start. I'm still not sold on their defense. I think obviously getting Jackson back is a huge boost, but they just got through playing a team that's literally mailing it in.
Well, another factor in Sunday's game, and I don't know how much of a factor it is, but the head coach talked about it, that they did he stepped aside in the Saturday night before the game. The captains did their, their rah-rah, win one for the Gipper kind of a speech. You could only do that once. So and they suggested that might have had a lot, the KOC made no bones about it. He said he thought that had a lot to do with the team's performance. So I don't know if you can replicate that speech each week. There was a lot of things that went the Vikings' way in that game. And as you said, now you have to do it again the following week because as well as the Vikings played, it looked like they might let that game slip away at the very end. Detroit scores the touchdown. It gets a 27-24. Vikings get the ball. They're facing a 3rd and 6.
Right.
And if they don't pick up the first down, I'm convinced the Lions win the football game.
McCarthy made the mistake of not going out of bounds, not staying in bounds, which would have milked a lot more time off the clock.
But then he made the really nice throw to Naylor.
That was it.
And that
was the money. That was the money pitch and catch. That was it. I mean, and that's where you start analyzing, McCarthy's return and what he did. And I would say it's exactly what I was hoping and thought he would do. He had moments of absolute brilliance and other moments where he looked like, I'm still kind of feeling my way through this thing. But his level of confidence in that pass that he threw the Naylor was difficult. Brady was talking about it. And, Tom Brady, I think, has a pretty good idea what it takes to complete a pass like that. And Speedy, as they like to call him, made the catch, which iced the game. But, and that's the NFL is what happened in the Vikings-Lions game is duplicated in 7 or 8 other games pretty much every weekend, and that's why we love the sport so much and the mystery of it and how one team can look so good one week and fall flat the next, and you try to find that level of consistency. I've always said that I've always start judging a team when the World Series is over and we change the clocks back. I think that's when you go, okay, now let's see where we are with this football team and how they're going to push from into November and then obviously into December. And the Vikings now with 2 straight home games with the Ravens and then the Chicago Bears, another, a divisional opponent who they beat on the road opening game. This is, I would say this is right now. I mean, this is a really big game. The Vikings can go over 500 this week.
You like this Vikings club, don't you?
Well, I like the fact that they're healthy. And I like the fact that, they might even be getting help. Ryan Kelly's the guy I was talking about, that center. I don't think necessarily he'll be back, and I don't think they have to rush him back because of the way that Brandell's been playing. But, it sounds like pretty much all hands will be on deck this weekend again. And that's, if you look at the injury list around the league, and you just talk about the Lions again, and there's certain teams that just get bit hard with the injury bug. And that's just the nature of the beast, but it dictates so much of what a team can do and can't do with a consistency level, and that's why you have so many upsets every week. I'm surprised the Ravens are 4-point favorites in this game.
You are?
Yeah, I am. I just, because this is going to be a tough environment for them to play in.
They just signed Jair Alexander. Didn't they trade for him?
They did. I don't know.
Tell me, is that true?
I didn't.
I thought somebody
before
said
the year.
No, not today.
That didn't happen today. That happened before in the off season.
Yeah, that was not Jair. I mean, I know there have been trades. I'm trying to keep an eye on. Stuff.
Someone said they traded Alexander.
Oh, they traded.
Oh, traded him today.
Yeah, I don't know if that's accurate. I don't know if that's accurate. That's what somebody.
Yeah, this
said.
stuff is happening kind of left and right, but the Jets are seeking a third-round pick for running back Breece Hall.
You'd like to see what are you hearing? You're an insider over at Winter Park. What do you know?
The doors are locked over there. Quasey's got less than an hour to pull the trigger if he's going to do anything.
Very good.
Don't hear much of anything until the smoke gets puffed up there.
Oh, it looks like it happened a couple days ago.
Oh,
I missed that one. Yeah,
Jair?
you get traded to Philadelphia.
Okay.
Philadelphia. Howie Roseman just never quits
For a 6th-round pick next year.
My,
Or 6th-round, 7th-round pick swap.
Huh. I think the Vikings could use a running back. I do think they're a little thin in that area. I mean, especially with how injury-prone
this one
Aaron
says,
Jones has been.
Shocker, Rosen back on the McCarthy bandwagon after saying we should stick with Wentz only a few weeks ago.
That's funny.
You did.
I never said that about McCarthy. That they should stick with Wentz over J.J. McCarthy. You got the wrong guy. You must be listening to the wrong station, pal. I never said that. Stick with Carson Wentz and don't put J.J. McCarthy in? No, I mean, that was the whole point of having J.J. McCarthy. When he's ready, he's going to play. We discussed that. We argued about that.
I think he's right. I think that's what
I think she's thinking about you.
No.
Yeah, you're the guy. You've been the Carson Wentz bobo for weeks and weeks, and that's fine. He deserved to play because they had no other choice. McCarthy was hurt.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what this guy's saying, that you wanted to keep going with Wentz.
No, I didn't.
Not after he was healthy. I'm just saying that
there was no choice at that point. Right. Of course, it's either him or Max. I wanted Wentz over Max Brosmer.
Okay, just wanted him,
but not over J.J. McCarthy.
People are just making sure that because you're one of those people that you play little shell games.
You play I think what happens is that you have such an influence. You're just bouncing off the walls with your opinions all the time. People are trying to keep their feet on the ground. They're trying to understand who says, are our voices that similar? I don't know. I don't think they are, but who am I to say?
You're always changing things. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more with Mark Rosen, Common and Tenneby here on The Fan.
The Fan and 2 men in a junk truck want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Just enter the keyword bank at KFAN.com now for a shot at winning. That keyword is bank. Enter now at KFAN.com. Bonus Bucks is back on KFAN. We have 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday. That's every hour from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. To enter the keywords and learn more, head to KFAN.com. Bonus Bucks is presented by 2 men and a junk truck.
Couple 13-14 pass, Common Man program. I'm Common. He's Tenneby. Mark Rosen here as well. So your Wolves team wins last night.
Yeah, I guess they did. I didn't see any of it, but I had following it. I was at a book signing.
Oh, you were? Did you write another book?
No. It was quite an evening. Mitch Albom was in town. Mitch wrote another book called Twice. It's a fiction book, but he had an absolutely stunning, incredible presentation at the library downtown. I had not seen him. I first met Mitch back in 1987.
You're on a first name basis with him.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's been a long time. We had a relationship through radio, and he had written a book about the Fab Five, and called me up and said, "Hey, by the way, I have this new book coming out. It's about meeting with my professor, Tuesdays with Maury," and of course, it ended up being an international bestseller, one of the most highly So anyway, he's written a whole bunch of books since then, but I knew he was in town last night, so I had a chance to go over and see his presentation. I mean, he's done an astonishing amount about giving back. I mean, he opened an orphanage in Haiti after the earthquake they had there, and it was quite the presentation, along with obviously people who packed the place getting his book, and I had a chance to talk with him for a little bit afterwards and catch up. And he doesn't, I used to see him when he came to town at the Metrodome, and he's working for the Detroit Free Press, and and covering the Lions. And he mentioned, in fact, at the beginning of the speech last night, I mentioned JJ and McCarthy, et cetera, because he's followed his career and everything. But yeah, it was. So I didn't catch any of the Wolves game. I was following it on my phone afterwards, and it looked like they kind of, as expected, took care of business in the fourth quarter against a really bad Brooklyn team. And Julius Randle continues to have an outstanding start to his season. I mean, he's everything that he didn't do early last year, he's doing in spades this year. So that's good to see with Anthony Edwards about to return. Maybe he'll be ready against the Knicks tomorrow night. I don't know. Maybe his ankle. Speaking of ankles, maybe his ankle.
What are your sources telling you?
I have no idea.
Well, I don't think it's an ankle with him. Is it? I thought it was a.
It's a hamstring. Yeah, ankle, It's his hamstring. But I saw a video of him kind of running around at practice yesterday. But I'm sure they're going to be careful with him. It's so early in the year. They don't want to risk anything that. But it's as much as he wants to play, certainly against the Knicks and his old buddy Cat tomorrow night.
Well, you can't worry just because he wants to play.
No, they're not going to look at it that way.
I would hope not. Just because, I really want to play against Cat. Okay, go ahead. I don't think they'll. If they don't think he's, I don't know the hammy. If you have to be 75% or 65 or 85 or 100, but I would not. I wouldn't
probably. I think they'll probably wait a little while. They come back to play. I still don't understand that NBA Cup stuff. Other more money on the table. I can't follow it.
It was created to get the players to try hard at the beginning. Of the season.
You're right. It was.
That's why they did it.
Nobody follows it from a standpoint. Who's going to win the NBA Cup? What is it? I don't know. So anyway, it was a fun night. I had a great night. It was an eye-opening. And I'm sure a lot of people listening have read Mitch Albom's books before, and this is a new one that's out, fiction book. Like as if you have a second chance of going back to in your life to do something different. It's a fiction book, but but you have to live with the consequences, whatever happens that second time.
So what would you do, Mark?
I thought about it last night. I mean,
what would you do different? Would you have graduated from college?
No, that would not have been the case. No, I mean, I was already working full time. I don't feel like any more than.
So you wouldn't change a thing.
No, I'm not saying that at all. No. You're asking me one specific thing. I'm sure I would change something, but I would probably do something on a very personal level. That because he talked a lot about from grief to gratitude, and obviously I've experienced all of that in the last few years, and with the passing of my wife, and then finding Karen and getting married again, and having that gratitude for having that in my life when I didn't think that was possible again. So that's the type of thing where you go, yeah, that makes sense. So I'm anxious to kind of, tonight's going to be the first time I'm going to kind of dig into the book. He doesn't write these, huge novels that's going to take, weeks, Harry Potter, like it takes you weeks to kind of plow through. It's a relatively short book, but he's a gem of a writer, and I'm anxious to read it. So that's where I was last night.
Well, I remember you had talked about writing a book about grief. The grief process.
I did.
Are you still planning to do that? Or?
I don't think so. I've been trying to make. I work with. I've done some work with a men's group about the grieving process. Jack's caregiving group, and they, men are traditionally not as good at caregiving, whether it's for a spouse, a parent, whatever the case may be. That's just a fact. It's not being chauvinistic about it or anything, but. So I got to speak at that, and I'd like to do a lot more of that from my personal experience. So to at least, I'm not an expert on it, but I can just speak to what it's like to be a caregiver and the toll it takes on you mentally and what goes through your mind. So I would love to do more of that. Yeah. Anyway,
your Gophers club, won last night. They look pretty good.
Well, they beat Gardner Webb Simpson.
You play who's ever in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, good for them. And Nico Medved's debut and at the barn, and you gotta take it one at a time. And you never know what you have, and from a fan standpoint, it's going to take quite a bit of time to absorb and watch the team kind of grow when they play better competition and. Obviously, once they get into the Big Ten season, but we have a very strong basketball community here, and I think that
we do.
Oh yeah, I mean you know that you know that better than anyone. You've watched at the high school level. When your kid was playing, and you watched a lot of really good players.
I think we're the state of hockey.
The NBA. Well, we are theoretically, but unfortunately, the Gopher men's hockey team isn't doing very much right now. And but yeah, I mean it's. I just think that you kind of long for those days, and maybe they'll happen again where they're competitive in the Big Ten, that they will become, NCAA tournament eligible. We'll get in that whole discussion. Better off doing that, but than the NIT. But see what Nico can do. And they've obviously he's got a couple of transfers, and they've had some nil money involved. And I don't know, the kid who scored 30 points last night. Was that because they're playing Gardner Webb, or is he going to be that kind of a scorer for them? That's all that stuff's yet to be determined. I didn't get a chance. I didn't get a chance.
So ESPN's on here.
Yeah.
in the on the Toshiba Regs, a 55-inch big screen, and so they're counting down to the trade deadline. Then they had something called, I'm not making this up, they just showed the Shefty cam. Then they showed Schefter off the stage, right?
Come on.
Let me guess, on his phone.
Well,
two phones.
Oh,
yeah, thank you.
He had one he was talking into, and he was looking at the other one. Now, I know he's a busy guy, and he's well connected.
Yeah.
That was made up.
Of course it was.
They said, hey, let's do something here to make it look like, that the wheels are in motion everywhere. There's all sorts of, there's a lot of different wheels and going in a lot of different directions here. So why don't you pretend you're talking on one phone and scrolling
and
on
actually
the other.
on Uber Eats, he's ordering a pizza from someplace out there. That's what he's doing.
It was priceless. It was fun to watch.
Good visual.
We'll take a break. One more segment to go with the legendary one. This is the Common Man program with Common Tenant B and Mark Rosen on the Fan.
KFAN welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra for two amazing shows at Target Center on December 28th at 3 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. Tickets are on sale now. Get complete show details, including a link to buy tickets at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Common. He's 10 to be. Mark Rosen, the legendary one, is here as well. Someone sent a text message here to Booth or to the Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line that says, "Hey, Common, why wouldn't the Vikings attempt to trade for Breece Hall? What do you say, Rosie?"
Well, they're asking. Apparently, they're asking for a third-round pick, and I kind of go, well, given how important you guys were talking about the importance of the running game, and especially when you get into the month of December, and especially with injuries, and especially looking at the depth chart for the Vikings, and an injury-prone Aaron Jones, and Mason is behind him, and then they got young players behind that can play the position, but don't necessarily have the impact. So they put a value on a third-round draft pick. In theory, is worth a lot. I mean, because you can, but if you look at the history of the Vikings lately, I wouldn't say that all, the third round draft picks have panned out. And Breece Hall, I think, is only 24, 25 years old. I don't know. I'd be tempted. The Jets are obviously having a fire sale right now. They're going through their 80th rebuilding process when they're accumulating draft picks, and they have, the worst management in history of pro sports. And they just can't.
In the history of pro sports?
Well, pretty close. I'm probably being a little exaggerating a little bit.
What don't you like about them?
Pretty much everything.
I don't mind what they're doing today.
Well, no, but
they have some high-end talent, but until you get the quarterback position figured out,
which they haven't done since Joe Namath.
Now they're accumulating draft picks.
We haven't done it since Fran Tarkenton.
Well, you're right.
They are
other than filling in the blanks. They're going
to have a high pick in the draft this year, and they are accumulating draft picks. So if they have a quarterback they can target, they will be able to get them.
They'll still screw it up, but that's the Jets.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean,
why are you so down on the Jets?
A lot of reasons.
Really?
Yeah.
Some personal?
Not affecting me. But yeah, there's reasons why they are an awful organization. Let's leave it at that.
Well, you don't just say.
Well, no, they are.
They're and then just say we'll leave it at that.
Well, talk starting with the owner. I mean, and all the way down. I mean, they just are mismanaged.
Sounds like you know a little bit more.
I definitely do.
Well, then why don't you go ahead and cut open?
Because I can't.
What do you mean you can't?
Because I just can't. But it's not necessarily all football related. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. But I don't wish them well at anything that they do. 0.
Wow.
So there you go. Sorry.
Well, you can't just throw
I can do anything I want. I can't talk about it.
Well, sure you can.
No, I can't. No. So.
But, so you just throw stuff out like that?
Well, no, I just said they part of it is everybody's seen it. I mean, the Jets are disastrous.
Yeah, but it sounds like there's some
no, but they are
stuff
here. Well, there's a mismanaged. They're mismanaged all the time. The coaching situation, front office, how they handle players, everything.
Eubank won a big game. Yeah. How bad it? Couldn't have been that bad.
Not 1969. No, that was a while ago.
They went to back-to-back AFC championship games under, what was it, Buddy Ryan's brother? No, who was the guy? Rex Ryan.
Well, remember when the Vikings played Atlanta in the 98 championship game? I think the Jets were playing later that day in the AFC championship game, if I recall. I mean, I was so distraught I didn't really pay attention to the game, but...
Mike in St. Louis Park says, "Come on, man! You can't drop a bomb like that and then leave it alone."
No, there's nothing that'd be interesting. I'm sorry, I did. I'm sorry. I apologize.
You can't say I have a secret and then don't tell the secret.
No, you're right. I can't. They're just mismanaged. I said I'll just leave it at that because most people understand that, and if we'll follow the Jets, would say the same thing. I mean, it's nothing new that pretty much anybody who
it's
follows
one thing to be mismanaged, but you are talking as if you're wishing ill will on them.
Yeah. That's what it sounded like to me.
No, it didn't sound like that to me.
Rosen sounds like...
What if they offered Carr in a nice little
maybe
deal?
That's the problem.
Triple contract.
No.
Rosen sounds like a disgruntled CIA asset attempting to sow chaos via rumor and innuendo. Maybe that's what you are trying to do.
No, not at all. No.
I totally agree with Rosen, assuming we both have the same gripe with ownership. So somebody else has a gripe with the ownership.
There you go. See? Yeah, I mean, it's well known among Jet faithful. They interviewed some... I saw something the other day, which one of the most hilarious, quick little bites I've ever seen on social media. And interviewing I think he was a 12-year-old kid. He basically goes, "I'm so sad that I was born into being a Jets fan." Something like that. It was the innocence on his face and his exclamation.
Now you're saying all Jets fans know it, so then let's talk about it. What is it?
No. As far as following this team and the mistakes they've made and how they step on it all the time or step in it all the time. No matter what they do, how many first draft picks they get, no matter what they do, they will screw it up. That's been their history for quite a while. They're the Jets.
I kind of like them.
Jets, Jets.
I like the Jets.
Well, that's okay. I'm not saying you shouldn't like them. It's like the Miami Dolphins right now.
I'm thinking I shouldn't because it sounds like
the Jets and the Dolphins have...
Is there something despicable about them? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not going to... I just don't want to talk about it. So... End of story. Don't push me.
It sounds like there's something despicable. That's what it sounds like to me.
Don't.
It's not just you think they've mismanaged their roster. Interesting. I'm going to have to do some...
do some digging on that.
Going to have to, yeah.
Don't be that fascinated with it. It's not all that interesting. But just funny watching them operate on... It's like Jerry Jones and what's going on with Dallas. They keep trying. I watched a little bit of that game when I got back from Mitch Albom's thing last night. God, they're a bad football team. They're getting beat by a backup quarterback. Jacoby Brissett's just tearing them up.
He's pretty good, though.
He is good. He looks good.
Brissett was good the week before and the week before.
No, I don't disagree with that. He's a guy that could step into a starting role, including a team like the Jets. But yeah, good for them. But Dallas is just, they're a charade too. They're just, I can't imagine getting pumped up about that football team every year and you get your hopes just drained. Their defense the whole team.
Sounds like the Vikings.
No, they're much worse than the Vikings. The Vikings will play them here too this year.
No, but I mean, get your hopes built up and then just get on.
I don't know about that. I mean it's Dallas every year.
We've never been to we've never won a big game. They've won 5.
Well, I know that, but thanks for pointing out something that hasn't happened. So how many playoff games have they won in the last?
Yeah, but none of that matters. It's banners. How many do you have?
Yeah, but that's a whole other generation ago. People don't care about that anymore. The Dallas fans today, a lot of them weren't even around when Emmitt Smith and all those guys were playing. I mean, it's always the next chapter, the next thing. And you can look at all the banners you want up in the sky, and it's not going to make your team better now. And that, they're America's team, and they just seem to fall flat in their face. So Tony Romo, who's making, pretty good coin, number one analyst for CBS, I don't know if he had a lot of playoff success. Did he for Dallas?
I figured it out. Jets owner Woody Johnson was the U.S. ambassador to the United Kingdom from 2017 to 2021. Rosen wanted that job. He's bitter and can't let it go.
Damn it, busted.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I wanted that appointment. Ahmad Rashad married his ex-wife for a while. That was interesting.
Actually, the Jets went to more conference championship games in the past 20 years than the Vikings.
I know they did. I'm not denying that.
Oh.
Yeah. That's, again, the last 20 years. I'm just talking about but I think if you talk to, Jets fans, they're not real happy with the product of the last decade. Let's leave it at that. I'm care about talking with the Jets.
Huh.
You're funny.
It's just interesting to me.
No, it's not.
Well, I'm that's all I'm going to be able to think about now.
Is it?
What is it about this Jets organization?
Let's move on.
All right. Did you watch Game 7 of the World Series?
Oh, God, did I watch it. That was one of the best sporting events I've seen in a long time. That had well, that's the thing about baseball. I mean, the game itself, the inning by inning without obviously they have a clock now for pitchers, but, without a shot clock, without looking up at the scoreboard, it was as captivating as any championship game, and it had so many twists and turns. And obviously, I wanted Toronto to win. There's all sorts of things you can second guess, and then the shot of the cleat being 2 inches away from home plate when the Dodgers getting that force out at home, and all you had to do was run over the plate, and I still don't know. I don't remember seeing the ISO, how big a lead he had on third base, but it seemed to me that he should have been able to score, I was saying easily, but sort of be able to beat the throw. But the catching out in the outfield, the outfielders banging into each other, and the home run, it just had a little bit of everything. The Yamamoto coming back to pitch, after he threw, just everything.
He won the
Ohtani.
MVP because of it.
Absolutely. I mean, it was captivating stuff. As they say, someone had to lose. I wish the Toronto could have won it, but they don't have anything to hang their heads about.
You like those Canadian teams. You were rooting for Edmonton last year.
I was.
You were rooting for Toronto this year. I mean, baseball.
Well, I liked the fact that, a team had won a Stanley Cup in Canada for I don't know how long. But, I fell in love with the city of Toronto and was there last year, and management people. I know people who work for them. And in fact, Andrew Miller, who's with the Vikings, was a big CEO, whatever, of the Toronto Blue Jays until he came from the Vikings. But yeah, this is kind of a fresh story. It wasn't so much just Toronto, but the idea that we know what the Dodgers are about, and good for them. And but I wanted to see some fresh blood in there, as they say. And it's be tough for them to kind of get back. And they spent plenty of money. We know that they're not as the Twins were introducing their new manager today.
Toronto did too. They had the fifth highest payroll in Major League Baseball. Now it's still $100 million less than the Dodgers, but it's not like they weren't throwing money around.
No, exactly. The Twins had their news conference today with Mr. Shelton. I don't think he's promising a bed of roses, but he's promising.
He's in a tough spot. I mean,
he's in an impossible spot.
He's coming to a team that is the fan base might be as disappointed and disappointed with the ownership as they've ever been of any ownership group, and that's saying a lot with the poll ads. And you had the fire sale at the trade deadline. They have a handful of quality players still. I mean, you've got Buxton. For now, you have two pitchers in Ryan and Lopez. And
Ryan could be traded.
Right, but as we speak, you have those two. You also have Royce Lewis again. He's certainly after having a really good start to his career when healthy, even now when he's been healthy or healthier, he's not been the player he was when he first started. He went through.
Right.
Remember, he said he was slump proof, and then he's had 2 really lengthy slumps. And they have a couple of other young guys that you at least go, well, they look like they've got a little bit of talent, but. And so you bring a manager into that situation who's going to have no payroll to work with, and it's like you take the job because you're a baseball guy. You're offered the job as a manager. There's only 32 of them or 30, whatever there is. So you take it, but it begs
the question.
He's in an unenviable spot as far as baseball managers.
I mean, why do you fire Rocco? I mean, and Rocco had his faults, and they could be open to criticism for anything that Rocco did or didn't do with the pitching staff or whatever it might be, But Derek Shelton was here. He was a coach here, and good for him that he got the job. But I don't know if that's, you look at we improved the manager by hiring Derek Shelton today. I mean, he's just I understand why he took the job. I mean,
there's only 30 of them, and it's a payday, and you want to, and he
knows the organization. He knows what he's walking into.
And look, there certainly will not be. A lot of expectations there. I mean, it's not as though if the team is terrible, they're going to go, well, it must be the manager. I mean, there's no expectation. So if you somehow exceed them, if somehow the younger players play well, you capture lightning in a bottle. And I'm not saying win the division, but hey, you win 84 games, which I don't think they will, but let's say they do.
Right.
They're going to slap him on the back, and he's going to be in a good spot. And if they win 72 games, they're certainly, I don't think, going to blame him. So.
I don't know how you can. I mean, he knows what he's. I mean, I don't know what questions he asked of Derek Falvey and Joe Polat or whoever else was in that front office when he took the job, other than where do I sign and how much am I getting? It's like, well, what are you going to do to try to help this baseball team go forward, and how are you going to get people interested in coming to the ballpark again? I don't know.
11 minutes till NFL trade deadline comes to it. And there is a number of trades being consummated as we speak. The Ravens got Dre, Mott, Jones,
Titans they're having a bit of
he's a linebacker. He got him from the Titans. So again, there's a lot of the names that I'm sure hardcore football fans recognize. I don't recognize a lot of the names, but nothing with the Vikings as far as I know. Nothing with Green Bay. Nothing with Detroit or Chicago. Tend to be of any of the NFC North teams that you're aware of made any kind of.
I have not seen anything.
No.
So
and sometimes they're announced. 3:00 is deadline.
Right.
Sometimes they
correct.
can be announced
That's correct.
afterwards.
Because I would think, I don't know how serious the offensive line situation is with Detroit, but man, if they have to play, and Viking fans know this better than anybody. If you have to go more than a handful of games when you've got one original starter, maybe 2 and 3 backups, it's hard to win football games. So Well,
there are a few teams that were so-called contenders that are dealing with lots of injuries. Look at the Commanders are a perfect example. And with Jaden Daniels now out for the year, I think he's out for the year. Right, that was about as gruesome as I looked at that replay once. That elbow, oh my God, that was hard to watch. But he's not going to be able to recover from that, and I mean until hopefully next year. But that changes things a lot. And with all the other injuries that they have, I mean the teams that are when you pick your favorites to win a division or win a championship. It can change in a hurry.
Wild won a game.
Yeah, that's encouraging. Play again tonight.
We're coming.
What do we have tonight?
Nashville, right?
Correct.
The Preds, are they any good?
All right.
No, they're pretty mediocre.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you got to start somewhere. Maybe we'll beat the Preds tonight.
String some together.
Yeah. Maybe we'll string some together.
That would be nice.
And then it's Bodega Cat tomorrow night, or is that tonight?
Tomorrow night in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're staying in New York.
You'll be watching that one.
I think I'll be home tomorrow night. Yeah,
it's a big one.
He had a big night last. Didn't he score like 33 or something last night? I think he did. He had
the guy that's just.
They'll be favorites tomorrow night.
San Antonio lost yet with Wemby.
Yeah,
they finally did lose, huh?
Wemby had one bad game, I guess.
Because they were 5-0 at one time.
OKC is unbeaten. I think they're the only unbeaten team right now, I believe. They're just rolling. They have not missed a beat. In fact, they're better than they were right now. They just can't be stopped. So that looks like a runaway locomotive at the moment.
your Gopher club, they won a football game, but they didn't do it in very impressive fashion. That might be that Michigan State team. I think they've won 3 Big Ten games in the past 2 years, and we were begging them to win that football game, but we found a way to win late. But again, the team is just really, it's they played so well, and maybe Nebraska's worse than I thought, but they played so well against Nebraska, and they were ranked 25th at the time. And we know Ohio State's Ohio State, but to get drilled like they did by Iowa, and then to have a game like that against, I mean, you won, but to play against Michigan State, have to go to overtime with it, it doesn't. They're kind of spinning their wheels a little bit.
They are. They got the week off now, and then they go to Oregon, where they'll be big underdogs, obviously against the Fighting Ducks, and then they got some winnable games down the road. Someone just texted me and said the Bears did make a trade for a defensive lineman. I don't know the specifics. I don't know.
Maybe that's the final piece for the Bears.
Well, no, they're
not bad. I mean, they're
fun. I saw the end of that game. That was about as wacky a play to finish a game as you could possibly see.
Well, it was like he caught the ball, and it was like 3 guys had a chance, and they all kind of just bounced off each other, and the next thing you know, he's in the end zone for the tutty. So, yeah. They call me Nostradamus for a reason, and I wasn't the only one to say it. But I said, I think this has a chance to have 4 really good teams in the division, or at least 4 a really close division. And right now, you've got, the Vikings are in last at 4-4, yet they're only a game and a half out of first place. And I think all teams have shown moments where they look pretty good, like the Vikings last week finally looked real good. Detroit's had a couple of big wins, so was Green Bay and even Chicago. But they all have their warts as well, though. Yes. But it should be a great second half of the season.
Well, it will be. That's what you look forward to. The Packers have the Eagles next Monday night, and they had a miserable performance.
Lions got Washington at the Commander's place, and I think their quarterback won't play, right?
No,
I don't think.
I think Jaden's out for the year. I can't imagine.
Out for the year?
Well, I don't know 100%.
I don't know if we've gotten that yet.
We haven't got that yet, but I mean, I don't know how you come back from the fractured elbow.
So he's out. Who do the Bears have? I'm sorry.
They play the Giants, if I recall.
Oh, yeah.
So,
jam-packed leaderboard, as we like to say, Mark Rosen.
It's a fun time of year.
You'll be back tomorrow, right? Wednesday, 2 o'clock. Perfect. Tennessee, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. You were really, really good today. I appreciate it.
Really
you know that goes without saying. He's Steady Eddie. We start calling him Steady Tenna, something like that. We're back tomorrow at 12 noon. Stick around. The Big Ticket and JGR next year on The Fan.
And now till we meet again.
I'm a fraud.
Yes.
Adios. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Good night.
Good morning. Good afternoon. And good night, Minnesota.
And good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
Where you live by the dog, you die by the dog.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.